you folks miss out when she's over here during the week after Wednesday night Bible study. She comes here and practices. And she's not shy when she's up there on the stage, and she's just a natural. I can just see her. She's going to be a singer someday. Well, she is a singer now. But I mean, how many of you would like to come up here and do a solo, huh? David? You want to come up here and do a solo? It's good to have David and his son. My mind went blank. What was your name again?
Dylan.
Dylan. That's right, Dylan. Sorry about that. I got an excuse now, you know. But I guess you're here celebrating 60 years. It's good to have your family come and visit you during the week.
One at a time.
One at a time?
Yeah.
They couldn't make it all at once.
Didn't have room for all that.
So are you all done celebrating?
I hope not.
That's good. That's a good call. Oh boy, had a great week. Alfredo's going to be heading to North Platte to pick up his things. He's moved in his home, and he decided he's going to stay here. Isn't that great? And as you can see, he's been doing some filming. And I don't know, how many of you have checked the website out and checked the sermons on the website yet? It's pretty cool. You can go to www.alliancechristianchurch.com, look under sermons, and then multimedia sermons, and then you can click on the date of the sermon. So I guess he's going to be filming the whole service now with all the songs and everything. So that's cool. Give him a hand. Yeah. Good to have Marie here. And this is the home stretch, right, Marie?
Yes.
And so you counting the days? I bet you know how many days are here. Huh?
It's pretty close to 48 or 50. Kind of depends on whether you count how many days I'm actually going to be there, or how many days till classes end, or so.
Senior skip day and all that stuff. But it's exciting. It's hard to believe that that little girl, I think about when I first came here 6 years ago, and she's grown up, and wow. And I look at Emily too. I meet Emily from Bible Bowl, and she's here visiting. I think about all those years. Did you go through Genesis? You didn't go through Genesis. I remember studying through the book of Genesis, and if you know what Bible Bowl is all about, it's pretty intense. You have to study that thing, not only study thing and memorize that thing, you have to be able to come up with these key words just like that. And these kids are really, really good when they do that. And I hear they're going to have a Bible Bowl tournament at Summit Christian College. It'll be the first Bible Bowl tournament. And I think they're trying to encourage the Platte Valley to start a Bible Bowl program. So maybe some of you who, like Shaylin's age, might want to be able to study the Bible I'd say these Bible Bowl kids know the Bible better than a lot of these professors as far as the content. So it's a really exciting program. I need to turn my monitor. But we're in the book of Genesis and been reading through, and sometimes it's kind of hard to pull a sermon out of a passage. You got to kind of look at it and go, okay, what is the Lord wanting me to share with you guys today? And the only thing that I could come up with is, thou shalt not covet. I think about schools today and how they have thrown out the 10 Commandments. And one of the things that they have thrown out, of course, is this one part of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not covet. But how many of us really understand what that word covet means? Well, I went to the dictionary, so I can give you the dictionary definition of the word. And it is to wish, long, or crave for something, especially the property of another person. Well, let's go right into the chapter 34. If you have your Bibles, you can turn to your Bibles and read along with me. Now Dinah, the daughter Leah had born to Jacob, went out to visit the women of the land, and when Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, the ruler of that area, saw her, he took her and raped her. His heart was drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob. He loved the young woman and spoke tenderly to her. And Shechem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl as my wife." And when Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been defiled, his sons were in the fields with his livestock. So he did nothing about it until they came home. Now, guys, you know, if you had siblings that are sisters and you had such a thing happen to your sister, what is the first thing that would come to your mind that you want to do to these guys? Well, that's what was going to the mind of the brothers of Dinah. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's son had come from the fields. As soon as they heard what had happened, they were shocked and furious because Shechem had done an outrageous thing in Israel by sleeping with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should not be done. But Hamor said to them, "My son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife. Intermarry with us, give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves. You can settle among us, the land is open to you. Live in it, trade in it, and acquire property in it." And then Shechem said to Dinah's father and brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and I will give you whatever you ask. Make the price for the bride and the gift I am to bring as great as you like, and I'll pay whatever you ask me. Only give me the young woman as my wife." Now, as you can see here, he's already taken something that didn't belong to her and defiled her, and now he's willing to pay anything that they will ask for. Does that story sound kind of familiar? That something happened in the New Testament? I remember in Matthew, the 14th chapter, at the time Herod the Tetrarch heard the reports about Jesus and said to his attendants, "This is John the Baptist. He has risen from the dead. That's why miraculous powers are at work in him." And now Herod had arrested John and bound him and put him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of the people because they considered John a prophet. On Herod's birthday, the daughter of Herodias danced for the guests and pleased Herod so much that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. Prompted by her mother, she said, "Give me here on a platter the head of John the Baptist." The king was distressed, but because of his oaths and his dinner guest, he ordered that her request be granted and had John beheaded in prison. His head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, who carried it to her mother. John's disciples came and took his body and buried it, and they went and told Jesus. Here's another story of a man who desired something that didn't belong to him. And as the commentaries would say, is that you know, these parties that they have, they usually were drinking, and so they were pretty drunk, and so in a spur of the moment, Herod sees something that he just, and probably this dance that this girl was doing was probably something like belly dancing or some kind of seductive dance, and he just desired her so much and wanted her so much that he says, "Whatever you want." Now she could have asked for half of his kingdom. And a king's word is supposed to be his word, and he had to stick to it, especially when he was in front of some witnesses. Of course, he thought, you know, he'd be giving something of wealth, of his wealth, to this girl. But because of the circumstance, this girl's mom told the girl, "I want the head of John the Baptist on a platter." Now, I don't know, if you watch any horror movies, but I would imagine that would have been pretty horrific to see the head of John the Baptist carried in on a platter. All because of covetousness that King Herod had. Let's go back to the story here. Because their sister Dinah had been defiled, Jacob's sons replied deceitfully as they spoke to Shechem and his father Hamor. Now it seems like, they say like father, like son, this thing. Well, you remember Jacob, his name was, meant deceitful, healer. And here the sons are being deceitful too. So they said to them, we cannot do such a thing. We cannot give our sister to a man who is not circumcised. That would be a disgrace to us. We will enter into an agreement with you on one condition only, that you become like us by circumcising all your males. Then we will give all your daughters, give you all our daughters and take your daughters for ourselves. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. But if you will not agree to be circumcised, we'll take our sister and go. Take it or leave it, basically. Their proposal seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man, who was the most honored of all his father's family, lost no time in doing what they said because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. Now, I don't know, but it didn't say anything about if the daughter really liked this guy or not, but it just seems like a one-way thing. He wanted something, he coveted, and he took advantage of her, and now he wanted her for his wife. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of the city to speak to the men of the city. And these men are friendly to us, they said. Let them live in our land and trade in it, and the land has plenty of room for them. We can marry their daughters and they can marry ours. But the men will agree on to live with us as one people, only on one condition, that all our males be circumcised as they themselves are. Won't their livestock, their property, and all their other animals become ours? So let us agree to their terms, and they will settle among us. All the men who went out of the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem, and every male in the city was circumcised. 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brother, took their swords and attacked the unexpected city, killing every male. They put Hamor and his son Shechem to the sword and took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the dead bodies and looted the city where their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks and herds and donkeys and everything else of theirs in the city and out in the fields. They carried off all their wealth, all their women and children, taking as plunder everything in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me by making me obnoxious to the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the people living in this land. We are few in number, and if they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed." But they replied, "Should they have treated our sister like a prostitute?" And I'm thinking about what's happening here. We look at the bad guys, right, and the good guys, but is there really bad guys and good guys here in this circumstance? It seems like they're using their sister's circumstance and being defiled as an opportunity to attack them and to kill them. Isn't that what covetousness does? Desiring something to the point where you actually commit sin. Maybe you commit murder. Some of you like murder mysteries, right? Where you know exactly what's going to happen. There's this guy who wants somebody's wife or something, so he goes out and he makes this big plan and ends up killing them and tries to cover it all up. Isn't this sort of like what's happening here? The people that's supposed to be the righteous men of God makes the excuse, well, you know, you guys gonna have to be circumcised. This